This short video outlines basics of citing sources in APA format. By the end, you should be able to answer this question: how can I effectively and ethically use information? After you finish this short lecture, I also recommend you watch this video that was hosted by the North Carolina State University Libraries, and it outlines additional information about what citations are in a nice visual way. Properly citing your sources is key to conducting yourself with academic integrity and avoiding plagiarism, which is a form of cheating. Citing also helps readers to find the information you used in your paper. It demonstrates that you respect the other's works and that you backed up your own ideas with other studies. Not citing sources is a direct violation of the Texas University Statement of Academic Integrity. One common citation style is designed by the American Psychological Association and is referred to as APA. Key features of this style is that it uses just the author's last names and the abbreviation or initial of their first and/or middle names. The publication or copyright date is provided second. Only the first letter of the first word of the article or book title is capitalized. And you will also see other proper nouns capitalized, like names of countries or people. Other features of this style are pointed out in the following slides. The APA style is used in social sciences like education and psychology, plus business and medicine. And the important reason behind this is that dates are important in these fields of study. People want to know how recent a publication is, how recent the research is stemmed from, and the data that is supported in it. And you'll remember that we note the date as the second piece of information in APA style, because that is a really important feature in these fields of study. Here's an example of how the APA format looks for a book. The author's last name is used along with the initial of their first name, followed by the publication date in parentheses. Then climate change is the title of the book, where you see just the first letter of the first word is capitalized. And in this case, there is an addition detail where it's from the environmental engineering collection that we can specify here. And the publisher's name is Momentum Press. Then we complete the citation with a period at the end. A unique feature when citing a website is that there might be a more full date that we provide rather than just the year. You might have the month and the day that an article was published to the website, for example. And you'll also have a site name along with the title of the page. And you would add the URL at the end. When citing articles from a journal or a newspaper or magazine, we need to represent two titles as well, kind of like with the websites but the websites, you don't always have two titles. With articles, you always have two titles because you have to tell the reader what magazine or journal that it came from, along with the issue number and volume number. If one of these is not provided, then you just provide whatever is available. Sometimes it's just the volume number, but you don't have an issue number. You will also have page numbers. So in this example, the article is placed within pages 661 to 669 of the Technium Social Sciences Journal, and it's volume number 14. And some articles you will also provide a URL in the form of a direct link, or what we sometimes call a DOI, which is the Digital Object Identifier. And that link is just a direct link to this particular article online. Oftentimes, articles have multiple authors too. So you might see them listed out, or You might see an abbreviation et al. That means this author and others if there are more than 3. When citing videos from websites such as YouTube, the main difference here would be the host of that video, and we say the format in brackets. So you see the person or group who uploaded the video, in this example World 101, then the date of publication or the date that it was posted online. It should be provided along with that video. Then we have the title of the video. Here again it's italicized, and just the first letter of the first word is capitalized. Then the format is shown here so that the reader knows this is a video. That's what's in brackets. Then the website host is YouTube. The last piece is the URL or direct link to the video. Citing work and ideas that are not your own requires 2 parts. One is the full bibliographic citation that I described in the previous slides, and the second part necessary are what we call parenthetical or in-text citations. You might have noticed on previous slides that I added brief information in parentheses after the content. This is me telling you that the information came from another source, and that I did not just make it up on my own, or it wasn't my original idea. Each parenthetical citation matches the full bibliographic citation in my reference list, which is located at the end of the slide deck. In the case of these sources from the Purdue Writing Lab, which I've used several times, I cited different pages on their site to identify them as unique sources using letters after the year. If you don't need to provide multiple citations from the same main source, then your dates will not include letters. The goal of in-text citations is to abbreviate or provide a shortened version of the full citation so that the reader or listener knows exactly which source that piece of information came from as they're reading or viewing or listening to your content. Here's an example. Notice the Purdue, 2020A in parentheses at the end of this quoted content. I'm telling my reader where this information comes from based on my references list. The in-text citation tells you to go to that full bibliographic entry that starts with the name Purdue and is dated 2020A. Every time you write a paper or complete a project or put together a set of slides with information on it that is not your own, you need to cite your sources. Here are some tools to keep at hand as you're working on your projects that will help you to format the work that you're doing. And you can double check all of the specific elements that come up from various sources and small complexities that you will come across. I provide these links at the bottom of the Citation Central Guide, which I am in the middle of making some edits on, and these links are also at the bottom of the English 1302 guide. In APA, the heading we use for our bibliographic citations is references, so you see that at the top of this slide. In MLA, you used works cited. That's just one key differentiation there with a format. The sources that I used are alphabetized by the name or word of the first name or word in the bibliographic entry. And when referencing one of these sources in an in-text citation, you use that first word along with the date. And if you are citing information and it came from a book or a journal article that had page numbers, you need to provide the page number in addition to that first word or last name of the author and the date. And to add clear in-text citation using one of the Purdue resources or any other source that starts with the same word or is by the same author, you need to include a second piece of information for clarity. In APA, we would just add a letter at the end of the date. For example, here, I've got 2020 A, B, and C to help the reader understand the difference between the three different sources when they see it in the parenthetical citations. I also want to point out the website names are treated a little bit differently than the basic rules that I provided within the presentation. Because the author is the Purdue Writing Lab and it's also the name of the website, I don't list it twice. So the specific page name becomes italicized and is the only title provided. For example, in the last one, references list, electronic sources is the name of that web page, and Purdue Writing Lab is the author or provider of this information. These small details change depending on the source, and the additional resources that I provided on that previous slide will help you to understand exactly what to do in these unique situations. You can also ask me or talk to your professor when these questions arise. The rest just comes with practice.